Welcome to the webinar. We'll get started shortly. Before we begin, here's how to earn CPE credit. Unlike traditional CPE webinars, there are no polling questions or attendance checks during the presentation. Instead, you will demonstrate your knowledge by taking a brief multiple-choice quiz in the Earmark app. Search for the free Earmark app from the App Store or Google Play Store, or scan the QR code on the screen. Open the app and create an account. Be sure to use a valid email address because we'll email you your CPE certificates. From the home screen, scroll down to find the course. You can also tap the magnifying glass icon to search for the course. Tap on the course artwork, then the Enroll button. On the Course tab, you'll find the recording and quiz questions. If you don't see the quiz yet, don't worry. We'll email you when the quiz is available. Complete the quiz to earn your CPE certificate. If you have questions or need help, email us anytime at support@earmarkcpe.com. Now, on to the webinar.
Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Mastering Airtable and QuickBooks Integration. I'm Joel from the Earmark team, and if you have any questions, please feel free to use the comment section, and I will be in there. And with that, I'll turn it over to today's host, Gaston, and he will take you through today's webinar.
Thanks, Joel. All right, let me present my screen. Okay. All right. Let's go to the slideshow. Well, thanks to Earmark in first place for having me, and this is super exciting. We are going to see and explore an integration between Airtable and QuickBooks, and why this is so important, because operations teams typically don't work close to finance teams and accounting teams, and the potential of integrating Airtable and QuickBooks, it's phenomenal, because we can create really shortcuts for these processes to be semi-automated or automated. A little bit of background about myself. So it's been 10 plus years in tech. I'm a no-code enthusiast and an Airtable evangelist. I love Airtable. Husband and father of two, and originally from Argentina. As for my background, I used to be an operations and logistics lead at Uber. Prior to that, I wore a product hat at almundo.com, and prior to that, I had the pleasure of found and work in two startups, Airclide and VirtualLab. What I'm doing at this moment, so having fun at Boltflow, doing low-code applications and playing around with AI. And at the same time, we are working on a side project in the food tech industry, and this is still in stealth mode, let's say, but coming soon. And I'm also advising Hokali, which is a Y Combinator startup, and they are focusing on sports and after school camps. All right, quick overview about Boltflow. So we are founded by ex-Ubers. I mean, like a founder of me, we come from Uber. And with this background, we are helping organizations to be more efficient by simplifying, automating, and integrating their tools and their apps thanks to low code and AI. About the webinar. So 3 main goals for today: integrate list data between Airtable and QuickBooks, automate transactions between Airtable and QuickBooks, and let's showcase also a collaborative expense approval process that could be really useful for accounting teams. Prior to that, let's make an intro on what we typically see with every customer, right? So every startup, every SMB, every enterprise company, no matter the size, they use at least a dozen of tools across the board. So finances uses QuickBooks, spreadsheets, HR uses applicant tracking systems, CRMs, operations may be using Salesforce, Zendesk, more spreadsheets. Marketing uses HubSpot, Klaviyo, you name it. So there are so many tools around there. And the thing about these tools is that they don't talk to each other. So basically, since they don't talk to each other, we are creating data silos. Each of these tools speaks a different language, and there's not a hub integrating those tools. And those data silos lead to poor cross-functional collaboration inside teams and blocks operational agility. This is why the typical scenario that we see whenever we speak with any customer, it's we find different processes that could be improved to save so many hours each week and each month. This means a lot of low-hanging fruit in terms of cost saving for every team. And how to solve this? And this is where Airtable excels. But not only Airtable, but any low-code system that allows you to centralize information and to be a hub that integrates all the tools in one single source of truth. We love Airtable. We are Airtable partners because it allows you to build in weeks a solution that centralizes and makes collaboration seamless across different teams. It allows you to work on a single platform, share a single source of truth, integrate with almost any existing tool, reduce manual tasks, create automations and automate workflows. And the newest thing about Airtable, it's the AI capabilities, which are fantastic. And it allows you to add AI on the decision-making of your automations. Intuitive app building, how Airtable has developed the interfaces on the past year and a half has been phenomenal. And it allows you to really create UI beautiful apps, either for desktop or mobile. It's a relational database that allows you to have a really robust database on your backend. It has advanced automation, allowing you to not only create workflow automation, but also to implement AI on those processes and workflows. And the extensibility. The API is super robust, so you can integrate with almost anything. All right, with this, let's jump into the demo that I prepared for today. So this is the app that I created. This is the interface of Airtable that I created for today. And let's pretend that we are an agency. So the idea would be to walk you through how a typical agency that works in retainers with customers works like. So let's pretend that we are an agency and we are going to start by creating a new customer. So let's say that we are going to be working today with Tesla as our customer. Let's put a fake street here. Let's say Miami. Florida. Okay, you say, let's upload Tesla's logo here. Okay, and then customer data. Okay, so our customer, Elon Musk. Right, and let's use my email for this. Plus Tesla. All right. So we have created a new customer. Okay. As you can see, on this side, we can have all the interfaces. I'm going to go to the all customers interface, and here we can see our current customers. Disney and Nike are customers that we are already working with. See that with Disney, we are on development status, and with Nike, we are on maintenance status. Tesla, this is new customer, and this is kind of in draft mode. And the idea would be to move it to the corresponding stage where we are. How typically agencies work, at least how we work at Boltflow, it's discovery phase. It's a proof of value, meaning that we start conversations with any company, and at the beginning, it's just working together to find what the value would be of an implementation, if we decide to move to development, then that's when the contract begins. So let's say that we have been in conversations with Tesla, we have done a deep assessment, and we decide, okay, let's move this into development. The PM is going to be Matt from our team, okay? And here we can see, for example, a pipeline of our projects. And so now let's create a contract. Let's say that Tesla, and let's say that we are creating a monthly retainer for Tesla up to 40 hours per month, and say that we agreed $6,000 retainer. Okay, now we have created a contract. And as you can see, this is a draft contract. So I'm not going to showcase you how contracts are auto-sent from here, but this is basically linked to Sign Now, which is an app that automatically sends contracts. But what I want to showcase you is how we have created a customer, which is Tesla. So now let's go into QuickBooks and let's go to Sales, Customers. And there you go. Here we have Elon Musk, Tesla. And how did this happen? This was a super simple automation in Zapier. What we did here was create customers from Airtable to QuickBooks. Let me showcase you this quick automation. So new record in Airtable. Let me showcase you this. So whenever a new customer entered this view, which is new customer to QuickBooks, what we did was, here you go, QuickBooks. We created a new customer in QuickBooks with all the information that we had from the form that we completed and the building address, etc. And after that, we went back to Airtable to update that record with the corresponding QuickBooks ID. So basically, if I go to the data view of my Airtable base, in the customers table, here you have, so Tesla, all the information that we loaded, and here we have the QuickBooks customer ID, which for Tesla, it's number 7, okay? So going back, so this was automatically created. So meaning that we have automated list data, we have automated how customers are passed onto QuickBooks. And this can be also updated. So if we update the customer inside Airtable, this is going to be updated into QuickBooks. All right, so now let's jump into contracts. So now that we have created a contract for Tesla, let's say that we want to send this to Elon, and once he signs, we will know that, and this will move to open. So once the contract for Tesla is opened, an invoice will be automatically created. And here's when I want to showcase you how we can integrate Airtable with QuickBooks for transactions, for invoices creation. Now, going back here, I can see that there has been a draft created for Tesla. So we have automated this. Whenever there's a contract signed, automatically, since we are speaking about retainers, an invoice will be automatically created. In this case, here's the invoice description, a monthly retainer of 40 hours. But today it's May 16th, meaning that for the whole pricing of $6,000 of the retainer of this month, we are just going to charge half of that because there are 15 days that are out. So for the 15 prorated days, we are charging $3,000. And this has been automatically assigned. And as you can see, we made this so to be able to check. This is a draft. We are able to check and make sure that everything is okay. See that the QuickBooks invoice number is missing and the QuickBooks invoice is missing. So the idea would be to create an invoice. So this is going to trigger another step. Let me show you. here you go. Let me run this. So to fast track this, okay. Invoice ready. Now we have the QuickBooks invoice number. And if I open here, I can see the invoice. Boom. This invoice was automatically generated. Now we have all the information of our customer, and we can see the invoice description. I mean, this is just one line item. If we had more than one line item, this could be included, no problem. We see the description, we see the rate, and the total amount, okay? Easy peasy. Okay, so now that we have seen how to create an invoice, now let's send the invoice. And the reason why I have created this demo on these steps is that we can check into every step that everything is going well. Now we could make the whole automation end to end, but I think it's worth making the stops. So the invoice is ready. Now let's send the invoice. Now if I send the invoice, here you go, there's another sub. So send QuickBooks invoice to customer, run. Okay. Right, invoice sent. So with this, the customer will have received the corresponding invoice. Now let's check my email. And here you go. Since I put my email as the customer email, I'm receiving that invoice, and here it is. The invoice that we created was automatically sent to our customer. All right, so we have gone through list building and list sync for the customers, transaction automation for invoices. Now let's go to the expenses module on our interfaces. And this is a really simple and high-level demo of what we could do with Airtable to simplify any process inside accounting. Imagine this, a process for approving payments where you could integrate directly with whatever processes and workflows the operations team is doing. I just created this quick expense tracking demo, but the key idea here is the following. Before jumping into this, I want to show you how I imported a chart of accounts of QuickBooks inside Airtable. So the goal here would be, if we're going to be tracking expenses with the operations team, would be to have the latest version of the chart of accounts of QuickBooks at very hand in Airtable. So how we did this? I used Skyvia. So Skyvia, it's a really cool tool that allows you to do two-way syncs or one-way syncs. And this is, I mean, the main difference between tools like Zapier or Make is, I mean, those tools allow you to create automations in the sense of trigger action. Now, if you want to replicate one source into a target or to make a mirror sync, a two-way sync, tools like Skyvia are great. There are other tools like WhaleSync and High Touch, but Skyvia works great for QuickBooks. And let me show you how I did this. So if you go to Skyvia, you can go to, the first thing that you have to do is to create connections. So as you can see, so let me show you. Here you go. So here I have my connections. So I made a connection for our demo on Airtable and a connection for our demo on QuickBooks. And then what you want to create, it's an integration. And what I did here was to make a replication. So I replicated data from QuickBooks into Airtable and scheduled a daily sync for this to be regularly updated, okay? So here you go. Let me open this integration. So source, QuickBooks, target, Airtable. And let me show you the monitor. So basically what I'm saying here, it's from the chart of accounts, which is the account table on QuickBooks, move this to the corresponding table on Airtable. And as you can see the monitor here, you can see the runs, and this is being scheduled. Here you can see the scheduling recurring on a daily basis. Okay, so going back to our data on Airtable, here we can see the chart of accounts of all the accounts on our QuickBooks demo. And why is this so important? Because what I want to showcase you now, going to expenses. So say that I want to create, so imagine this tool as a tool for the ops team to be able to load expenses that may belong to a running contract with a customer, okay? So say that I took a flight to one of our customers' headquarters to have a meeting. So a flight to Tesla's headquarters. Owner, so let's say it was me, and contract, let's pick Tesla development contract. And amount, let's say that this was $300 receipt. Let's include a receipt here. Okay, and here's the thing, chart of accounts. So since I have synced our chart of account with QuickBooks, I can straight here select the corresponding account. So let's say this is travel, and yep, travel airfare. Okay, create, and there you go. And here we can see all the expenses. And the idea here would be to create a chain of approvals. So typically, what you will want to do is to have all your team inside the table, and for each of the team members have a manager. In this case, for the demo, I have placed myself as the manager of everybody. So going back to the interface, we can see all expenses and another tab for manager approval and accounting processing. So in this case, say that the owner of this expense, here we can see the new expense, will request approval to the manager. In this case, it's myself. And then the manager will log here, and I will see, so here you go, fly to Tesla's headquarters. So I will approve this. This will be approved by manager. And accounting, so by the way, what we have done, it's, let me show you this, Airtable automation. So since I'm the manager, I made an automation so that whenever somebody requests approval from myself, I, as a manager, will receive an email with all the details. So here's the heads up, the owner for this contract, the amount for the chart of accounts, and here's the receipt attached. So all the information for me to go back to the interface and approve this. So as a manager, here's the, so this is approved by manager now because I have already done this. Now the accounting team now will see all the approved by manager tickets. So the idea here would be, see what we're doing. We are using one tool, Airtable, to connect the operations team, the management team, and the accounting team, instead of going back and forward on email, sending, hey, here's the receipt, here's my approval. Everything happens on Airtable. We can set up notifications to each of the team members so that all the communications are centralized on the same platform, integrating all the tools on the same platform. So once accounting checks this, they go back to QuickBooks, they check that everything meets with the corresponding transaction, and they just look here to process by finances. I'm done. That's it. Okay, and this was all in terms of the demo. Let me jump back to the presentation. And I wanted to showcase you a couple of quick case studies. Let's begin by Upchoose. So Upchoose is an e-commerce site that they have a pretty interesting logistics model. They basically do baby clothing, and they do this subscription based, so that every 3 months you receive a package of clothing for your baby. And the complex thing about logistics, it's reverse logistics, because every 3 months you receive a new package, but you need to return that package back. So how we helped Upchoose was by implementing an Airtable system that centralized all their operations, all their shipping, and all their comms to their customers. By integrating with their storefront and Shippo, we were able to create automatically all the labels. And what I wanted to showcase you here is how we use QuickBooks as an integration with Upchoose, and we automated all the invoicing. So basically, whenever a new order arrived, automatically we connected to QuickBooks to generate the invoice, and that invoice was automatically sent through Drip, which was our mailing platform, to the customer. And the most interesting thing in this case with Upchoose was the comms. And we have implemented an OpenAI automation to attack 80% of the comms approximately, and 20% of the comms were handled by humans. But most of the comms were regular communications like, are you ready for the swap next month? Or how is your baby growing? And when is this going to, when do you think that the date for the swap is going to be? And we automated all that with OpenAI. And thanks to these automations, we reduced manual tasks by 60%. We increased customer retention by 2.2x, and we automated all the transactional comms to their customers. And a second sample that I wanted to showcase also with QuickBooks is Hokali. So Hokali has a really interesting business model. They provide end-to-end solutions for after-school programs, and they work really close with schools. What we have integrated in Hokali was, first of all, we implemented an Airtable system to be central on their operations. And we integrated QuickBooks by syncing all the expenses and bills directly from the ops team to QuickBooks. And this simplified how the finances team worked and how the communications with the ops team. And we were able to save up to 70 hours per week. We also streamlined all the comms through Twilio and OpenAI, and we integrated with HubSpot to automate all their sales processes. Before finishing, I just wanted to say an interesting phrase from Jeff Bezos, and it's that complexity kills. And so, why to automate? Why to simplify? Because if you really want to scale, you need to simplify your processes. If you really want to scale and scale sustainably, you need to automate. So this is me. If you want to reach out, here's my phone number, and Boltflow.io. It's our website. So yeah, with this, let's jump into the questions.
Gaston, it looks like we have no questions at the moment, but if you are listening, feel free to put any questions in.
Okay. Right. QuickBooks list. Okay. Question from David Derry. Can you show more how to sync QuickBooks lists to Airtable? So basically, I mean, in order to, I think this question goes to sync. If you want to sync, either to mirror sync, two-way sync, or to one-way sync, I would definitely recommend using Skyvia. The only way you can do this is through API, and these tools like Skyvia are great for simplifying that. And so say that you want to, for example, make a two-way sync of your customers. What you will need to do is, again, create different objects here, in this case, Airtable and QuickBooks. And then you will want to create a replication or a synchronization. If you create a synchronization, it's going to be a mirror sync, a two-way sync. If you create a replication, it's going to be a one-way sync. And the only thing you have to do is to then map from one source to the other, which are the objects that you want to replicate or to sync, and that's it. Now, and so this is speaking about a sync, right? Now you can do automations from one base to the other in terms of lists. Like, for example, as we showed on how to create a customer from Airtable into QuickBooks. Now, if you want to create a true sync, this is the way to do this. If you want to use a local tool, if you want to do it on the hard way, you can use the API and write a script, and that would be how to do it, basically. All right, let's go back to the questions. From Bethany, does Airtable connect with other sources like Bill.com? Yeah, definitely. And the case that I showcase about Hokali, we have integrated with Bill.com, actually. Yeah, it's not a native integration per se. How we did that was through API. Now, Airtable has, let me show you how automations work on Airtable. So these are the automations that I created for this demo. But if you create an automation here, basically you will add a trigger. So say that my trigger is, for example, I don't know. So you want to send a payment to Bill.com. So when a new record is created, say on a table that you use for payments, let's pretend that this is the table. Here, you will run a script. On the script here, you will want to connect to Bill.com's API. For the moment, I don't think that there's a way of doing a mirror sync with Bill.com. Let me see if Skyvia has it. Bill.com, no. And yeah, you will want to check out also WellSync or HighTouch. These are really also good tools for integrations. But how we solved this for Hokali was using Bill.com API, which is completely open and it's not so complex. All right, going back to the questions. From Bethany, from David, sorry. Do you need to sync the items? Here you go. Do you need to sync the items list as well as the chart of accounts to create invoices in Airtable that sync to QuickBooks Online? So not really. So to create invoices, if you want to sync everything, if you want to sync the chart of accounts and you want to sync the invoices, you will have to do what I showcased on Skyvia for each of the lists. So if you want to have a mirror sync, if you want Airtable to be a mirror sync of QuickBooks, yes, you have to do that. So you will want to create one integration, as I showcase here. So one synchronization for each of the lists. So here we just made that for the chart of accounts for a demo. But if you want to have a single source of truth replicated both on Airtable and both on QuickBooks, you will have to replicate all of these tables. Now, that's a possibility, but you may also want to have one source of truth and just replicate that on Airtable. So say that maybe there are some transactions that won't go through Airtable because, I don't know, there are some kind of payments that just the accounting team oversees and are not related to the operations. So there may be transactions happening on QuickBooks that Airtable should not notice. So there are gray areas, and you should decide if you want to make a true two-way sync or just replicate some things from one source to the other. But to create invoices, I mean, if you want to fire invoices from Airtable onto QuickBooks, you can do that through a simple SAP or through a simple automation from Airtable. Now, if you want to have a two-way sync, the way to do is like this. Let's go back. And from Bethany, so there are just so many cloud-based tools on my clients. I'm an outsourced CFO consultant, have so many different tools and systems. Yeah, there are so many. And the thing is, I mean, it's you can centralize tools into Airtable or any other tool that you prefer to use, like your operational hub. It doesn't mean that you need to replace them, but the important thing here to avoid data silos is to have everything synced and everything integrated. So don't get me wrong. I mean, HubSpot, it's the best tool out there for marketing. Don't pretend to reinvent the tool. Use HubSpot. Klaviyo, it's the best tool out there for email marketing. Use it. What I'm saying is that if you want your data to be centralized, at some point you will want to integrate that into your hub. If it's going to be Airtable, which is what we recommend because of its flexibility, so simple to use and so powerful, you will want to make two-way syncs for each of these different tools, so to have everything interconnected, or at least to be able to track. So say that you're going to integrate with Klaviyo and you are using Airtable as your CRM, you will want to have the tags that you apply into Klaviyo for each customer, which then trigger comes into Klaviyo, so that when you go to a customer, you see, okay, I triggered this automation and this produce my customer to go into a certain campaign on Klaviyo. Do you have expertise using Airtable interfaces? Do you have expertise with using Airtable interfaces as like a KPI, key performance indicator platform for accounting, finance, operations, executive teams? Do you recommend it for that use? Yeah, definitely. It's so, I mean, that's a very simple use case. You can, I mean, Airtable has a really powerful visualization for KPIs. You can have charts, you can see different trends, and yeah, definitely. I would say, I'm here and being brutally honest. Airtable, it's not the most powerful visualization tool in the world in terms of data. I mean, it's not like, for example, having Data Studio or or any other like Power BI, for example. But the cool thing about Airtable is that a database. So you have a database where you can have all your operations running. You can have all the integrations that you want, and you have all the flexibility to build almost any app, desktop, mobile. And on top of that, on a really quick step, you can create some visualization with your trends. You can see KPIs and so on. So I would really, I mean, it's not, if you're going to use Airtable to track KPIs, I would say, I mean, it's enough to visualize them. But the cool thing would be to how you're going to integrate that on top of what you do on a daily basis. So say that your KPIs are related to marketing, and well, you could use Airtable to track the return of investment of your campaigns. You can integrate Airtable with HubSpot, so to know which leads came from which campaign. You can integrate with QuickBooks to see how many invoices or invoice to that customer. So you can make the math. What was the return of investment? How much invested? How much you got? And with all that information, it's super simple to create a KPI. Okay, so if your goal for this year was to have a return of investment or of I don't know how much, are you okay with that KPI or not? Are you on top of that or not? So yeah. Okay. Let's see. See if we have more questions. I think we are done. Okay, Joel, so I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Gaston, for the webinar today, and thank you to all of our attendees live, and have a great day.
Today's webinar has
Awesome.
ended. We hope you enjoyed it. To earn CPE for watching, download the free Earmark app. Scan the QR code on the screen to visit the download page. Open the app and create your account. Use a valid email address where you will receive CPE certificates. Then register for the course. You can search for it by tapping on the magnifying glass icon on the home screen and then entering the name of this webinar. If you're attending the live stream of this webinar, keep an eye out for an email letting you know when the quiz is available in the next few days. Pass the quiz to earn your CPE credits, then tap the button to email yourself a CPE certificate. Stay tuned for more webinars from Earmark. We appreciate you joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.